Mike Pence, I don't think he sleeps anymore. These are people that should be appreciated. He calls all the governors. I tell him, I'm a different type of person. I say, Mike, don't call the governor of Washington. You're wasting your time with him.
Here in Washington state tonight, 175 people have now died. 3,700 more are sick.
And Governor Jay Inslee says he can only guess at how many more people will get the coronavirus.
The state is now writing up plans for the worst case scenario.
Don't call the woman in Michigan.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer officially calling on President Trump for a major disaster declaration in Michigan.
Michigan is now at more than 2,800.
With the spike of cases in Metro Detroit, hospitals are pleading for help.
Is what happens.
Governor of Washington?
No, you know what I say? If they don't treat you right, I don't call. Mike Pence, I don't think he sleeps anymore. These are people that should be appreciated. He calls all the governors. I tell him, I'm a different type of person. I say, Mike, don't call the governor of Washington. You're wasting your time with him.
Here in Washington state tonight, 175 people have now died. 3,700 more are sick.
And Governor Jay Inslee says he can only guess at how many more people will get the coronavirus.
The state is now writing up plans for the worst case scenario.
Don't call the woman in Michigan.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer officially calling on President Trump for a major disaster declaration in Michigan.
Michigan is now at more than 2,800.
With the spike of cases in Metro Detroit, hospitals are pleading for help.
Is what happens.
Governor of Washington?
No, you know what I say? If they don't treat you right, I don't call. Mike Pence, I don't think he sleeps anymore. These are people that should be appreciated. He calls all the governors. I tell him, I'm a different type of person. I say, Mike, don't call the governor of Washington. You're wasting your time with him.
Here in Washington state tonight, 175 people have now died. 3,700 more are sick.
And Governor Jay Inslee says he can only guess at how many more people will.
Whoops. Oh, good start to stream already. Clicking on the wrong thing. Anyway. Hey, everybody. How's it going? So, yeah, as the title would suggest, I kind of need you guys to weigh in on something that I've been thinking about since my first stream. Well, I don't really know what the hell to do with these things. The original plan with this channel was to, make politics fun in a way. Get the people that aren't really interested in politics sort of interested in it. I get it. It's not fun. It's, more often than not, pretty damn depressing. But, I figure, with my videos, it's a little bit more palatable for the easily distracted or the uninterested in the boring parts. I can kind of ham it up a bit and make it fun. It's the whole point of the little blue cat and the goofy voice. It just makes things a little bit more interesting. I like to think anyway. But problem with these live streams is that it doesn't really give me a whole hell of a lot of time to make things fun. With the videos that I was doing before I started doing all the live streams, it was an entire process to write the scripts and, do the fact-checking and editing, and I had days and days to do it. I would literally spend hours writing the scripts to try and find some way to make these really unfunny topics sort of humorous in a little bit of a lighthearted kind of goofy way, These things aren't fun to talk about. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff in politics that's just plain grim, and honestly, lately it's been getting really bad. How the hell was I supposed to talk about that Amber Thurman story the other day and make that funny? I mean, if I had all day to sit around thinking how to make that funny, I still couldn't do it. So, I need some advice, or I need you guys to weigh in. Maybe I'll do a poll or something. What do you guys want? Do you guys want me to try and ham up all these stories at all, or do you just want me to report on the news and give it to you as funny as I can? I mean, I'm still gonna try and ham things up as much as possible because, I mean, just for my own sanity, I gotta try and add some levity to this shit. But, I mean, what do you guys want? I'm interested. I mean, I want you guys to watch. I want you guys to be informed. And that's really just the main goal of this channel, is to inform the uninformed, give you guys a more entertaining way to digest the news rather than, having to tune in to like Fox or CNN where it's just doom and gloom all the time, and they profit off of making you angry and scared, so that way you keep watching and keep clicking, But I just want you to be informed. I just want you to know what's going on and know how it's going to affect you. And if I can get you to laugh somewhere in between, I mean, that's cool too. But yeah, I think I'll chop this clip out of the stream later and attach a poll to it, or maybe I don't know if I can just put a poll all on its own in the YouTube community section. But yeah, if you're not subscribed, or you are subscribed, or whatever, subscribe to the YouTube channel and answer the poll that I'll be putting up at some point in the next 24 hours. And tell me what you guys want. You want more humor, or do you just want the news? I mean, either way, I'm going to try and ham it up as much as possible, because I've kind of committed to the whole blue cat thing. Be weird to abandon it all now. But, yeah, let me know. Anyway, I guess with that, we'll get into today's top stories here. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, yeah. So, today, they discovered the body of the I-75 shooter in Kentucky, Joseph Couch, half decayed in the woods. So, yeah, I guess we don't have to worry about him anymore. If you're not really up to date on this story, I guess I'll go over some of the details of what Mr. Couch was up to the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I guess two YouTubers found him. I mean, like older, kind of, I guess, explorer or bounty hunter type YouTubers found the guy, and yeah, he was in pretty grisly shape, so I don't think I'm gonna show that on screen here. I think this is a censored version.
Pounding. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, gosh. Look. Oh, gross. You found him? Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta. But yeah, so, apparently this guy was arrested earlier this year for making terroristic threats, and somehow he was able to still legally purchase an AR-15 and 2,000 rounds of ammunition, which he then used to go shoot up a bunch of cars on the I-75 near, what the hell's the name of this forest? What is it? Yeah, some forest, I don't know. But he shot up like a dozen cars, and wounded 5 people. I don't think anybody died. But, yeah, then he ran off into the woods, and for the last couple of weeks, they were apparently searching for him. Probably in hopes to find him before, Vance, JD Vance, decided to try and fuck him since he's obsessed with couches. Yeah, but I guess we don't need to worry about him anymore since, well, he ain't looking too healthy these days. But, I mean, we still don't know whether that is him or not. I mean, we just found a half-decayed body in the woods. It could be anybody, I guess, but considering they found an AR-15 next to him, it's, pretty likely that it's him. So, I guess, good riddance to bad rubbish. Don't need to, worry about getting shot on the I-75 anymore. I'm sure JD will be devastated that there's one less couch for him to fuck, but other than that, I'd say it's a net benefit for society. What's our next story for today here? Oh, yeah. So, somebody on the last YouTube video I posted said that I should talk a little bit more about the congressional and Senate races, too, along with the presidential election, because those are important, too, and that's a good point. So, it's actually kind of perfect that today, what the hell's his name? Mark Robinson, the lieutenant governor of, North Carolina? North Carolina, yeah. Where is he? There he is. The Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson, got himself into a little bit more hot water. And you might remember this guy from, oh, geez, wrong thing. Here he is. Oh, boy. Still not great at switching between scenes here, sorry. But yeah, so this guy, Mark Robinson, is a real piece of work. You may remember him from the other day when we were talking about the right's violent rhetoric. He was in there in a pretty prominent role when he said that some folks just need killing. But today, they discovered that old Marky Boy has been up to no good. I mean, it's kind of an understatement if you know anything about his past, but I mean, like, his past remarks apparently aren't limited to just saying people need to be killed. Mark Robinson, the controversial and socially conservative Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website message board more than a decade ago in which he referred to himself as a black Nazi. Let's see some of the pictures here. Yeah, and I mean, he's got his face on it too, so it's like hard for him to deny that it's him. Slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring slavery back. I love how he put slavery in brackets, just in case you didn't know what he was talking about. I would certainly buy a few. He would buy a few slaves, he says. So yeah, just a classy guy. So I guess, they found out it was him by checking out his profile or IP address or something. Or just, now they match his disgust picture there. His profile picture is literally his face. And he used the same... okay, I see how they did it. His disgust profile picture is his face, so they probably just did a reverse image search of his face on the internet and Googled his username, and it came back to this porn forum. What an idiot. But, yeah, so I guess we'll go back to that article there. See what it says. The comments which Robinson denies making predate his entry into politics and current stint as North Carolina's lieutenant governor, Oh yeah, by the way, the reason I'm talking about this is because he's currently up for re-election. So if you're from North Carolina, vote accordingly. I mean, Josh Stein is the Democrat running, and I don't know. He's got some dirt on him too, but I mean, you can definitely see the lesser of two evils in this scenario. I mean, we'll get into a little bit more of his charming personality in a second here, but many of Robinson's comments were gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. They were made between 2008 and 2012 on Nude Africa, a pornographic website that includes a message board. The comments were made under the username Mini Soldier, a moniker Robinson used frequently online. Robinson listed his full name on his profile for Nude Africa. Okay, geez, I was thinking they were doing some reverse image search to find his face, and okay, yeah, he literally just put his whole name out there. Oh, he's a smart one, this guy. Anyway, CNN is reporting on a small portion of Robinson's comments on the website given their graphic nature. Well, not really showing us anything besides his profile, but not to worry. I have some of it saved over here. Let's take a peek, shall we? So yeah, just a little bit of backstory on just how much of a piece of work this guy is. Marky Boy has also been in trouble with the law before when he was caught stealing $3,000 worth of Girl Scouts cookies, and he was subsequently taken to court and lost, which is unsurprising. I actually think it was his wife that did it over here. Let's see. In September of 2003, the Girl Scouts filed suit against Yolanda Hill. I guess that's his wife, yeah. According to the wife of Republican, yeah, so it was his wife that did it. But it would seem, judging by looking at the guy, that the majority of the cookies went to him. Yolanda Hill, in September of 2003, the Girl Scouts filed suit against Yolanda Hill due to a $2,956 bad check. The matter was heard the following month, and court documents indicate nobody attended on behalf of the defendant. The magistrate found in favor of the Girl Scouts and tacked on fees and damages as permitted by state law and return checks for a grand total of $3,486. Yeah. Like I said, not one damn person is surprised that this guy stole $3,000 worth of cookies. Anyway, back to the Discord here. So yeah, some of his messages include... let's take a look here. Okay. Had me another hot morning with the wife's sister. She brought along her laptop this time, and we watched some vids on here on NA. I guess that's Nude Africa. The one that really got us hot was called Wet Anal. And a bunch of shit I'm not gonna read because it'll get me nuked off the internet here. She was pissing and I was covered in piss. This girl is good and I can't wait until next week to get some more. I love how he's just bragging about cheating on his wife with her sister and being a fan of golden showers, all on something that has his name on it. And then the genius runs for public office. He's a smart one, this guy. Thoughts on social democracy? Well, could you be a little bit more specific? I mean, what are you looking for? Social democracy is kind of an expansive topic there, fella. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, so just a bit of history lesson on some of his charming personality here. Let's see how swell of a fella this Republican... Oh yeah, and by the way, he's Christian and does a lot of church speeches. I believe this is one of them that he's talking about killing people. So, you know, just the usual conservative Christian values.
Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity.
Necessity. Killing. Yep. Gotta love that violent rhetoric from the left. Anyway, take a peek at... Oh yeah, and then here's his thoughts on on women voting.
I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
Yep, I bet you do. And he has no shortage of endorsements from other conservatives that are running for re-election. So if you're in North Carolina, take note of who supports this guy. This is your Republican nominee for Labor Commissioner, Luke Farley, who... Oh, come on, I'm supposed to be able to read this? Zoom in, please. I could kind of make that out. We had a wonderful Sunday with the ladies of North Carolina Federation of Republican Women in Winston-Salem. At the prayer breakfast, I had the opportunity to ask for prayers for all of our Republican candidates. It was an honor to speak at the breakfast with Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, who shared an inspiring message about things that have been accomplished by courageous women, including his own mother. And man, oh man, did Mommy Robinson do a bang-up job with old Marky boy. Yeah, good job, Mama. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're voting for, well, your governor and labor commissioner, because they don't seem to be, you know, of upstanding character. And other people that have endorsed them are your State Rep Jody Barrett. It was a pleasure to meet Lieutenant Governor Robinson. Well, I mean, okay, I'll play devil's advocate here. This is apparently just their first time meeting, so I guess there's no way for him to know that he's shaking hands with a colossal piece of shit. So I'll give him a pass, but Lori Buckhout, conservative running for North Carolina's 1st congressional district, she does know who he is. It was great to be part of a wonderful event at our next governor, or with our next governor, Mark Robinson. And she's a real piece of work, too. But, I bet you can't guess who else endorses this guy. Take a guess. Any guesses? Yup, you guessed it.
He's been an unbelievable Lieutenant Governor, Mark Robinson. This is Martin Luther King on steroids. Okay, now, I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King times 2.
Times 2. Martin Luther King times 2.
Mark Robinson, he's doing good. He's got his own race up. He's fantastic. Thanks also to one of the great stars of the party, one of the great stars in politics, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. One of the strongest and bravest new voices in the Republican Party. He's been a great supporter of mine, and I'm a great supporter of his. You're incredible, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Mark, stand up, Mark. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson of North Carolina and his wife, Mrs. Robinson. What a job you're doing. He's the hottest guy in politics.
Oh yeah, he's a real stud bumping there, Orange Man. the Nordic countries and the philosophy of reforming capitalism or gradually phasing it out rather than just abolishing it and replacing it with socialist society immediately. Well, I mean, doesn't the immediately part kind of go against the whole gradually phasing it out part? I mean, those kind of work against each other. I'll be honest, dude, I don't really know too much about Nordic countries' politics these days, but I mean, like, reforming capitalism, I think, would probably be a good idea if it was done right. But to get rid of it altogether, I think people would be really, really not okay with that, and especially the people that are all for abolishing capitalism. I think if you actually took a look at a socialist society, you'd be in for a rude surprise. It seems nice if we're all, living in mud huts out in the woods and sharing fruits and veggies and growing our own food and raising cattle and everything. And I mean, in that scenario, yeah, sure. But I mean, in the 21st century, what incentive would people have to build shit? I mean, we all seem to love our smartphones and TVs and high-speed internet, but all that kind of is disincentivized in a socialist society. So I'm kind of in favor of reforming capitalism and making it more advantageous for the little guy, but not totally getting rid of it altogether. And in a lot of ways, I'm kind of a fan of capitalism. Well, there are forms of socialism that advocate market economics just without private property. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it's definitely a interesting topic that I'd like to deep dive in a little bit more, but I'm kind of running low on time, and I got a couple other topics to get to here. But yeah, thanks for the question there, Nevin 3 Tiers. Where were we? Oh yeah.
You're a very popular guy, Mark. And somebody that really took this country by storm, not just the state, but took the country by storm. Mark Robinson, he's out there, he's fighting. He's a great one. Thanks, Mark. Good luck, Mark. He'll win. Gotta win. He's gotta win.
He totally missed his arm there.
Gotta win. He's a good man. I said to this man, and when he endorsed me, he gave a speech, and I said, "You are Dr. Martin Luther King on steroids. That's how good you are. You are unbelievable."
Does he think that steroids just make you fatter? I'm not sure what he thinks steroids do. But, yeah, so that's who Trump considers a great guy. The guy that advocates for, killing people and not allowing women to vote. That's Trump's main dude. And, yeah, I'm sure at some point when he gets called out on it, he's going to pull a Jesse Waters. Because earlier today, old Jesse decided to claim that...
and what's really interesting...
he has no idea who Mark Robinson is, despite the fact that he literally interviewed him like 3 months ago.
In there, North Carolina, which is a big target for the Democrats. And we just found out an hour ago that the lieutenant governor there, Mark Robinson, who's running for governor.
Never heard of him.
Who Donald Trump governor.
Never heard of him.
Never
heard of him.
Never heard of him, huh? Well then, how do you explain this there, Jesse? Kinda seems like you've heard of him. But I'm sure that's exactly what Trump's gonna do when he gets called out on, saying this guy's all great and whatnot. I mean, that's Trump's go-to thing, is whenever he's associated with somebody that's turns out to be a Nazi or just a total piece of shit, he's, I've never heard of him, I don't know him. And, yeah, as you would probably expect, Marky Boy has no intentions of stepping down.
Hey guys, Lieutenant Governor Robinson and your Republican nominee for governor as well, of course. Well, guys, the news media is at it again. My opponent is at it again. You all have seen the half-truths and outright lies of Josh Stein on these ads over and over again. And now a story leaked by him to CNN is appearing now. Let me reassure you.
A leaked story. So, I mean, like, he's not denying that he said it. He's just saying, oh, it's not cool that you leaked the horrible shit I said earlier. Ah. Okay, Marky.
The things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson. You know my words, you know my character, and you know that I have been...
Yeah, we do know your words. Hey, can we get a playback? Let's rewind and see some of those words that Mark's all about.
I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing.
Yep, those are your words, Mark. We know your words. But yeah, so if you're in North Carolina, vote accordingly. Josh Stein's your guy. Okay? Just for the love of God, do not let this guy become the governor of North Carolina. Come on. It should be a no-brainer. I mean, it's a lot of things in politics that should be no-brainers these days, but I mean, doesn't really seem like it's going too well so far. Alright, what's our next story? Maga reacts to the Fed lowering interest rates. Oh yeah, this is a doozy. Ah, jeez. Maga reacting to... There we are. So, the Fed lowered interest rates for the first time since the pandemic recently. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Was by half a point, which doesn't sound like much. But half a percentage point is kind of a big deal when it comes to interest rates, especially since they haven't budged since 2020.
Are so back. This afternoon, Federal Chair Reserve Jerome Powell took the stage to announce the Fed's first cut in interest rates since 2020 and the beginning of the pandemic recession. And it was a big one, a 0.5% interest rate reduction to stimulate borrowing and to boost the job market. An acknowledgement that inflation has been tamed without a recession or high unemployment. In other words, the economy's landing has been soft, and America has beaten back the nearly unprecedented economic challenges of the global pandemic and the ensuing disruption to the economy. It's huge news. It's also proof the Biden economic recovery has been truly nothing short of miraculous, especially given the mess he inherited from Donald Trump and the fact the U.S. has outperformed every other country on earth. Trump, like so many...
Now, how do you think that MAGA would react to that news? You know, they seem to be all concerned about inflation and all the rising prices of fucking everything, even though they just spend like at least 90% of their paycheck on Trump memorabilia. But just take a guess. What do you think their reaction was? Let's take a peek, shall we?
Really quickly, just on the Fed cutting, it's a very Wall Street Journal-y question, but the Fed cut the interest rate today by 0.5 percentage point, going to alleviate inflation for a lot of people. And so if you have any reaction to that, we'd love it.
Well, look, my reaction is
boo, boo. Apparently now they like paying more for credit cards and paying more for houses and refinancing their houses and car loans and student loans and business loans. If you want to start a business, and just generally higher prices that would come from businesses having to compensate for higher interest rates. Yeah. Apparently now, MAGA doesn't like lower prices. Oh my god, these people are so dumb. The thing is, I mean, they don't actually understand what the hell that means. They hear 0.5 percentage point and think, gee, that doesn't sound very much. And, yeah, but I mean, to average Joe, it's, you see, the problem with a lot of things in politics is most people don't understand what the hell they're hearing, and when they just kind of, go with whatever. I mean, then watch what this jackass says.
My reaction is a half a point is nothing compared to what American families have been dealing with for the last 3 years.
See, and that's the problem right there, is that they just blindly follow these lying dipshits. He knows damn well that the, half a point reduction in the interest rates is huge news for the economy, for consumers. I mean, consumers will feel a little bit later, unless you're like holding stocks or something. You're kind of going to be, waiting a while to see any kind of meaningful impact, unless you're refinancing your mortgage or taking out a loan or something. But he knows better. But he knows that maggots don't know better. So he can just spin it however he wants, and, they'll just clap like trained seals. So, that's funny. Maga's now for high prices, I guess. Anyway, next story. Oh yeah, this is this is actually pretty funny. So, if you tuned into the debate, where did I put that? Oh, that would probably be in Trump's mental health decline, wouldn't it? Yeah, if you tuned into the debate, you'd probably be well aware that there was no actual audience there. But apparently Trump, being the senile old fart that he is, he may have, I guess, hallucinated an audience, or I don't know.
They even said, but all of them, and they didn't correct her once, and they corrected me everything I said practically, and I think 9 times or 11 times, and the audience was absolutely, they went crazy. And the real, I thought it was, I walked off, I said, that was a great debate. I loved it. You got a lot of people watching. I guess we had 75 million people watching, something like that. And you have to do well. You can't do badly. For instance,
yeah, so I don't know what you make of that. Is he just blatantly senile? Is he misremembering? I mean, and more importantly, I mean, why does he get a pass? Because if Joe Biden had said something like that, the whole damn world would have pounced on him and been like, oh, the senile old fart is hallucinating and imagining that there's an audience there that isn't actually there. But, I haven't heard one damn person talk about how this jackass thinks that there was an audience at the debate. But, I guess he's getting the pass again. Just add that to the list of, his ever so evident cognitive decline that nobody seems to care about for some reason. I mean, let's just give this senile old fart the nuclear codes, why don't we? It was a huge problem when it was Biden, but now it's Trump, and suddenly it's, A-okay. Anyway, what's next here? Oh yeah, debunking Trump's claims that Harris got Iran to spy on his campaign. Okay, let's go up here. There we are. Yep. So yesterday, Trump decided to tweet out a bunch of bullshit that's definitely not true. But let's go over it, shall we? Wow, just out, the FBI... there we go. Wow, just out, the FBI caught Iran spying on my campaign and giving all of the information to Kamala Harris's campaign. Therefore, she and her campaign were illegally spying on me. To be known as the Iran case. Because the stable genius is just such a linguistic savant that, whenever he has to come up with a name for something, he just repeats it one word over and over and over again. Just like the Russia thing. Now it's Iran. He's an idiot is what he is. Anyway, will Kamala resign in disgrace from politics? Will the communist left pick a new candidate to replace her? So what the hell is, the oversized Oompa Loompa rambling about this time? Let's take a peek, shall we? Iranian hackers sent stolen Trump campaign info into Biden campaign associates. FBI says, this was from over 2 months ago now, but in typical Trump fashion. Oh, geez, I'm still on the wrong page. But in typical Trump fashion, he just swaps out the names.
Joe Biden is a failed president. She was a failed vice president. The worst president in the history. The worst vice president in history. He is incompetent. She's incompetent. Everything he's touched has been bad. Everything she's touched has turned to bad things. He can't talk. She can't talk.
In many ways, he's worse than Bernie.
She's worse than Bernie. Low IQ. He's a low IQ individual. She happens to be really a low IQ individual. She really does. She has a very low IQ.
So, it wasn't even Kamala Harris's campaign, and you can make the argument that they're kind of interconnected, since, a lot of her policies are just Joe's repackaged. But let's take a closer look at what actually happened here, shall we? Iranians sent unsolicited emails that included stolen material that was not publicly available from former President Trump's campaign to people associated with his Democratic political rival, the FBI and 2 other government agencies said Wednesday. The FBI and officials from the office of the... Wait, Wednesday? Didn't this happen months ago? I definitely remember hearing about this months ago. Maybe they just... Oh, no. I think they're plan to file criminal charges in connection with it. Okay, this is an update to it. Okay. Anyway, the FBI and officials from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency said that there was currently no information indicating that recipients associated with President Joe Biden's campaign had responded to the emails, which the government officials condemned as part of an effort to stoke discord and undermine confidence in our electoral process. The agency had confirmed last month, I knew I heard about it earlier, the agencies had confirmed last month that Iran was behind efforts this year to compromise presidential campaigns for both parties after Trump's campaign accused Iran of hacking attempts in June. Iranian hackers have continued to make attempts since late June to transmit non-public stolen material tied to Trump's campaign to media organizations, according to Wednesday's statement, which noted that the FBI is tracking the activity. The agencies also warned of growing foreign efforts to meddle in U.S. elections ahead of November, particularly from Russia, Iran, and China, countries that are trying by some measure to exacerbate divisions in U.S. society for their own benefit and see election periods as moments of vulnerability. In a statement Wednesday, Trump campaign spokeswoman, Caroline Leavitt, said Iranians wanted to help Vice President Kamala Harris, who replaced Biden as the Democratic nominee, because they know President Trump will restore his tough sanctions and stand against their reign of terror. In all caps, Truth Social, he posted the shit that we just read. Harris campaign spokesperson Morgan Finkelstein said that the campaign has cooperated with law enforcement since it learned about the hacking effort. We're not aware of any material being sent directly to the campaign. A few individuals were targeted on their personal emails with what looked like spam or phishing attempt, Finkelstein said in a statement. 3 federal law enforcement sources confirmed the accuracy of Harris's campaign statement to NBC News, saying law enforcement agencies tracked the stolen information from the Trump campaign and determined that several people linked to Biden's campaign received emails containing the information. The recipients never responded to the emails and may not have even opened them because they appeared to be phishing attempts, the sources said. So yeah, literally nothing happened. They just tried to get Biden. I guess they were planning on blackmailing him with this later if they actually did use any of it. That would be my guess. But, long story short, nothing happened, and Iran is just trying to meddle in the election, much like China and Russia. So, big nothing burger as usual. But, you know, that won't stop Trumpty Dumpty from trying to spin it into some grand conspiracy. Anyway, what else do we got here? Trump debunking Trump's lies about tariffs. Yeah, this is another example of Maga not knowing what the hell he's talking about. And this is kind of where is it? Maga reacts to oh, do I not have a section reserved for it in here? Okay, I guess I don't have it. Oh yeah. But this is where Maga tends to end up not understanding things again, and I think Kamala really screwed up at the debate because when she called it a 20% tax, you know, she's I like to call it, what did she say? I like to call it his 20% tax plan or whatever. Yeah, like, the first thing that MAGA's gonna do is pounce on that and say, well, he never said anything about a tax plan. So, I mean, you know, why not just call it what it is? Just call it tariffs and then explain that tariffs are basically a tax on products. Like, rather than giving them any fuel to use against you. I mean, she could have definitely phrased that better. But anyway, Chris Hayes did a great job debunking all Trump's many lies over the past, even during his administration, he did a bunch of bullshit with tariffs. So let's take a peek at that, shall we?
Harris has probably been helped by Trump's inability to even feign caring about the expenses of regular Americans, like, for instance, child care, as he proved earlier this month with that rambling answer to a direct question at the Economic Club in New York. It was mockable word salad, but with one really, really undernoticed but truly toxic ingredient that deserves much more attention.
If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Look, childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about the...
Childcare is childcare. Have to have it. That's his policy. Good job there, Trumpy.
Those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, and as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in.
Okay, so Trump very obviously has absolutely no idea what he's talking about, clearly has no plan for child care. Child care is child care. But there is something in that answer that truly is a plan. And it's something he is both serious about and obsessed with. Okay? Listen to this. Donald Trump's central economic policy platform in this campaign is to raise taxes by trillions and trillions of dollars. He just said it. Taxes that will be paid primarily by you, by working people, in the form of a sales tax on imported goods. That is his magic bullet, his obsession, an enormous trillion-dollar sales tax on imported goods. Except that's not what he calls it, right? He calls it a tariff. And Donald Trump loves tariffs. It was a point he made repeatedly last night, including when he was asked, again, about bringing costs down for everyday Americans.
How are you going to bring down the cost of food and groceries?
Our farmers are being decimated right now. They're being absolutely decimated. And, you know, one of the reasons is we allow a lot of farm product into our country, and we're going to have to be a little bit like other countries. We're not going to allow so much we're going to let our farmers go to work.
Yeah, so God forbid you want anything out of season when Trump gets into office, because you can kiss that goodbye.
Tariffs are the greatest thing ever invented.
Now, I will say it's sort of disturbing a guy who is already president, who has a degree from Wharton Business School, doesn't actually seem to understand the first thing about how tariffs work. And what he's trying to do is sell them as this free lunch that China and Mexico are going to pay for, the way Mexico is going to pay for the wall. To him, it's the perfect Ponzi scheme. You just make the other countries' exporters pay more to sell stuff in America, problem solved. That is not how it works. When a car gets imported from overseas and a tariff gets paid on it, that added cost gets passed on to you, the consumer. The Honda sedan might have cost $25,000 before the tariff. Now it's going to cost $28,000. You're going to pay it. And you can make an argument about why that might be good policy for other reasons, helping domestic car production. What you cannot do, absolutely, is argue with a straight face that the tariff makes cars cheaper. No, it does the opposite. You pay more for the car because you pay the tax. Trump says tariffs will generate trillions of dollars. And maybe they will. That's trillions of dollars more you will pay for imported goods so producers can pay the government. A tariff is a tax on you. That's not just me saying that. That is the very conservative economists at the pro-Trump Heritage Foundation in a 2019 paper criticizing then-President Trump's tariffs, titled, "Do No Harm, Tariffs and Quotas Hurt the Homeland." Quote, "Many people believe that when tariffs are imposed on a country, that country bears the costs. However, that is not the case. When a government collects revenue from tariffs, it is collecting it from its own citizens, not from the citizens of the country upon whose goods tariffs were imposed." Thank you, Heritage. Yes, as insane as it sounds, Trump has already imposed tariffs as president, and they raise costs for regular Americans. A point that was made earlier this year by David Stockman, a Republican ex-congressman who ran the Office of Management and Budget under Ronald Reagan and was known as the father of Reaganomics. He said that Trump's tariffs actually helped drive the inflation that hurt everyone over the past half decade.
He basically decided, I'm going to levy a huge tariff on imports coming in from China. It averages, about 20% on 360 billion worth of imports. That's 75 billion or so a year of taxes on consumers.
Now, to be clear, those tariffs don't just cost American consumers. They can also hurt American producers. Remember, when Trump was president, he sold tariffs on crop foods as a way to help farmers, right? We're going to protect the farmers with tariffs on imported grain. Instead, what happened? Those tariffs sparked a trade war with China, which promptly stopped buying American agricultural exports, closing a massive market, ruining many U.S. farmers, and then forcing the Trump administration to keep them afloat with enormous subsidy payments, as Haley Jackson reported for NBC News back in 2018.
Before Doug Bartek farmed this land in eastern Nebraska, his dad did, and his dad before that. But these days, it's tougher to turn a profit.
We need these tariffs to end sooner rather than later.
Those tariffs, put in place by President Trump, triggered a trade war.
The longer this goes on, it just makes it that much harder for us. Costs on our end seem to be going up all the time.
Now it's farmers like Bartek, producers of soybeans, dairy, cotton, and more, getting an assist from the Trump administration as the president helps people his own policies hurt. A new temporary $12 billion program is set to launch around Labor Day, meant to offset the estimated $11 billion in losses farmers face.
Now, in fairness to Trump, those tariffs, like all taxes, do raise revenue. His did raise billions of dollars, almost all of which, 92%, the Trump administration had to spend bailing out the farmers whose business was decimated by said tariffs. When all was said and done, those Trump subsidies to farmers amounted to more than the U.S. spends to maintain its arsenal of nuclear weapons, more than the entire budget of the State Department or NASA. So now, get this, Trump's answer to cutting your household or childcare expenses is to do a lot more tariffs. I mean, last night, a woman asked him, how are you going to lower my grocery prices? And Trump's response, in short, is, I'm going to raise taxes on groceries. It is the very definition of crazy. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. What's even crazier is no matter how many economists across the political spectrum say this is a recipe for disaster, no matter how many politicians oppose the idea, Trump can impose tariffs unilaterally as president without Congress. He doesn't need a bill from them. That's what he did the first time in the trade war with China. And the sheer insanity of what he's proposing, trillions and trillions of dollars in new tariffs, is not really being grappled with by the media. It is being called out by Vice President Kamala Harris.
My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to...
See, this is where she screwed up, because it's just like, don't call it, like, if you want to call it something else, address what it actually is first, because all MAGA's gonna do is go, hey, you never said anything about sales tax. So just call it I like to call his tariffs a 20% sales tax, because that's what they are. That's what she should have said. But just like now, like all Fox News is going to do, all Hannity is going to do, all Jesse Waters is going to do, all Tucker Carlson is going to do is take this out of context and just be like, oh, Trump never said anything about a 20% sales tax. She's lying. And MAGA doing zero research and not knowing a single thing about tariffs, they're not going to know what the hell she's talking about. And those are the people that you're trying to win over. You're trying to win over. I mean, the people that are like smart enough to know what she's referring to when she's talking about a 20% tax on shit, they're probably already voting for her. You're trying to win over the people that don't know. You're trying to inform people that are uninformed, and you're not going to do that if you're not direct with what the hell you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, give it your own little nickname, but address what it actually is first. That's where she screwed up in the debate, in my opinion.
Get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year, because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that.
See? You see?
We're doing tariffs on other countries.
That's it exactly. That's exactly what your average MAGA is gonna say now, is that, oh, she lied about taxes. He's just doing tariffs. He's not doing taxes. Ugh.
No, that's the thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The tariffs on the other country is a sales tax on you. Donald Trump, I don't think, understands his own economic plan. A plan that even Republican economists say is a sales tax on Americans. A plan that already devastated American agriculture and turned American farmers from farmers into welfare recipients the first time around. But if he's elected, no one can stop him from making the same mistakes all over again.
Yeah, so, I mean, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I gotta get out of here. It's a bit of a short one today, but, you know, I mean, there's no set time limit for these things, so, and that's another thing. I guess I'll leave a couple polls in the YouTube channel after this. Let me know how long you guys want these things to even be in future. I'm kind of in favor of them being like an hour and a half, you know, just long enough for people to, you know, put down what they're doing, come join the stream, and then, you know, hang out for 45 minutes to an hour and hopefully get some useful information about it. I mean, like, I don't know about what's going on in the world. I don't know. It's yeah, it's still a work in progress. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'll put a poll or a couple polls in the community section later tonight after I cut a couple clips out of this one and upload it. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and I guess I'll catch you guys later.
Mike Pence, I don't think he sleeps anymore. These are people that should be appreciated. He calls all the governors. I tell him, I mean, I'm a different type of person. I say, Mike, don't call the governor of Washington. You're wasting your time with him.
Here in Washington state tonight, 175 people have now died. 3,700 more are sick.
And Governor Jay Inslee says he can only guess at how many more people will get the coronavirus.
The state is now writing up plans for the worst case scenario.
Don't call the woman in Michigan.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer officially calling on President Trump for a major disaster declaration in Michigan.
Michigan is now at more than 2,800.
With the spike of cases in Metro Detroit, hospitals are pleading for help.
Here's what happens.
Governor of Washington.
No, you know what I say? If they don't treat you right, I don't call. Mike Pence, I don't think he sleeps anymore. These are people that should be appreciated. He calls all the governors. I tell him, I mean, I'm a different type of person.